Hey guys, what's up? I'm currently wearing the Metaura Pro right now, and as you can see, it actually works pretty decently. The fans are going, and the cooling pads are cooling me down. It's 31 degrees, so it definitely is working. In terms of the full effectiveness, you will have to watch the full video to find out. You probably can't hear it as well because the wind is a little bit strong outside. But yeah, so far so good. All right, let's get on with the unboxing. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, it's even got a nice little fabric case in here. Okay, nothing else on the box. Well, what does that say? Whether in freezing winter or in sultry summer, I will always be by your side. Okay, that's kind of weird. Okay, keep going. So this case is kind of nice actually. Like it's fabric. It's gonna pick up a lot of dirt. I'll say that. But I guess the design, it actually looks honestly pretty decent, to be honest. So yeah, this is by iSwift, with, I guess, collaboration with Ranvu, designed by Fans Club and Acme. Anyway, we'll open it up. It's got zippers, so we'll just do this. And there we go. Okay, so this is it's actually kind of big, I'll be honest. It's like headphones, but without the phones. Yeah, this is a large piece of kit. Okay, let's see what else we have in here before we look at the actual product itself. What's this? Scan to have access to instruction video, app, customer, product warranty. Okay, and then that is a USB-C to USB-C cable, so I won't need that because I have USB's charging cables. So let's put this somewhere else and look at this. This is a large and heavy, I'll say that. Large and heavy. It's white. The aesthetics are kind of nice, I guess, but other than that, it's pretty normal. You've got a lot of lettering here. There is the logo there, Metaura, and I guess that's your fan, and I think that's the power button, and, well, I was gonna say volume buttons, but those are not volume. That is the, I guess, the fan power. Now, it does say to pull, so I'll do this. That is the power port, charging port, and then it says pull over there as well. So I'll do this. That is I'm guessing that's a temperature sensor, but we'll have to see how it works. But otherwise, it's pretty heavy, so let's try it out and see what we got. All right, so here are my thoughts trying out the Metaura Pro. So this will fit most people's necks, right? Unless you're like an F1 driver with a really thick neck, I don't know, Lando Norris or Daniel Ricciardo or something. It's not gonna fit in here, like, but if you have a regular size neck, it'll fit. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you're fat, you probably won't fit in this. All right, so when you turn on this, you'll hear the beep, and you can see that it's a blue color. That means that it is currently cooling you down. And then these are up and down volume buttons. As you can hear, the fan is going right now. You do this, and you can hear the fan going down, and you press it up, and you can hear the fan going up as well. So this is for controlling the fan. But what if you want to control the temperature, right? Let's say it's too cold or not cold enough. You actually long hold plus, and the temperature goes up like that, or you long hold down, and the temperature goes down like that. And what you can see here is these three gray spots is where all the cold is coming from. So you can't really, you obviously can't feel it, but right here, that's where all the cold is coming from, and it's fairly cold. And then right here is where the air is coming out. So you get cool from here, and you also have air blowing on your neck over here. Now, what are these vents over here? These vents and these vents as well actually, they're for heat dissipation. So if you actually put your finger right around here and right around here, you'll feel that there is heat. And actually, do you know why it turned off? Because there is a proximity sensor that senses that, oh, there's actually no one here. So let's turn it off. So you can see I put my finger there, it starts back on. I take my finger off and it'll stop after a while. But as you can see, there's also an LED light to tell you that it's on. And that's actually where all the heat's coming out from, and you can hear the fan that's going, that's actually sucking the heat out and distributing it somewhere else. Yeah. And now you can actually also turn it to heat. But before I do that, let's just talk a little bit about the cooling performance. So I wore this when it was 40 degrees outside. And I'll be honest, it wasn't very cold. I think it felt like maybe a 32 degree or 30 degree pads over here. So it definitely was cooler than ambient. So you can kind of feel that it's cool, but it kind of feels like, I don't know, you had a can of Pepsi in your basement and it's not super cold, but it's kind of cold enough. So it didn't help too much, I'll be honest, in terms of cooling if it's too hot. The fans though, the fans do help, right? So if you're in a place that's not very windy, and then let's say you want to turn the fan on, the fan, as you can see, it actually blows air and it actually cools you down a little bit more. So I would say the fan is actually more useful when it's really, really hot than the cooling pads here. So what you want to do is you want to turn off the cooling pads and just keep the fan on so your battery life keeps going longer. Now this thing is not super light, and it stays on your neck pretty good. However, I tried running with this, but as I was running, this thing basically bounced on my neck. So you cannot do anything other than basically walk with this Metaura Pro. Jogging might be okay, depending how heavily you jog, if you can say it like that. But yeah, so that's what it is right now. Yes, so it's decent, and what I actually think is more useful than the cooling function is the heating function. You long press. Oh, sorry, no, you just press, right? You press, now it's cool. You press one more time. It's, sorry, I need to long press. Now it switches, white means auto, right? So it detects the heat or the temperature of the air automatically, and then it will turn it on as required. And then you can long press it one more time and it'll change to heat. And actually, this is where I found it was the most useful. And during heating mode, the fans actually cannot be turned on. So I tried that. It doesn't turn on. The heating pads, however, actually are super hot. Like really, really hot, let me tell you that. So I turned it all the way down to the very, very, very like least. I think it was like 35 degrees and it was still burning hot. So I hope they can turn it down in a future firmware update. This is actually really useful. I think this is much more useful than the cooling function, because with the heating, it's heating, right? You don't need any sort of convective mechanism. It's usually heating elements and you just heat it up. So yes, if they can turn the heat down a little bit, I think it would actually be very useful, especially in the winter time. Now, with these heating pads right here, right, the gray ones right here, basically what happens is at the back here, the fan here actually blows out cool air, which is good because you're never really in contact with this area down here. So it does work fairly well. It either cools you or heats you. And I think the heating is actually much more useful than the cooling function of the Metaura Pro. Yes, you have your USB-C charger here. In terms of battery life, this thing lasted for about an hour, 40 minutes on maximum cool with the fan on. With heat, it also lasted about the same without the fan, obviously. And yeah, so I'll be honest, would I personally buy this? Most likely not. But if this is something that interests you, check it out in the link below. Let me know what you think in the comments as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one.